Emperor Menelik II after successfully defeating the Italians and saving Ethiopia from European colonization in 1896. Oppenheimer was teaching quantum theory at Kyoto University in Japan in September 1960. Smokey, the dog, is relaxing in a helmet around 1943. Martin Luther King Jr. and President Lyndon Johnson are meeting here in the White House on March 18, 1966. The wedding of a blind World War I veteran took place in 1921. In 1942, Greenbelt, Maryland, Federal Housing Project, shopping in the cooperative grocery store. Do we have enough cookies? The Toshiba Viewphone let people see each other on a small video screen, 1968. Brigitte in Venice, 1958. Giuseppe Morello, also known as the Old Fox or the Clutch Hand because of a right-hand deformity. This left him with only one finger, and it looked like a claw. This was in 1902. Ernest Hemingway with a cat drinking from his glass. Henri Leclerc, a skilled conductor, managed the first passenger journeys aboard l'Obéissante, Le Mans, France, 1873. Correspondents are interviewing Tokyo Rose, Eva Toguri, an American-born Japanese in 1945. Princess Diana was at Indian Castle Beach in 1993. The stuntman gets ready to drop into a car. This happened in 1921. David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson, 1996. German collaborators are rallying in Minsk, Belarus in 1943. In 1994, Angelina Jolie, age 19. Children also fought in World War II. Roland, a 4,000-pound elephant seal, is getting a bath from his handler at the Berlin Zoo. This was taken in 1930. Spanish archaeologist Manuel Esteve is wearing the Corinthian helmet he found back in 1938. Here's a plate steel spiral casing for a 70,000 horsepower Niagara Falls hydraulic turbine unit. It's at the Alice Chalmers Manufacturing Company in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, around 1920. The local priest takes a strong turn at the front and gives these Atala cyclists a break during their training run. They're getting ready for the 1959 Giro d'Italia stage race. This is near Milan, Italy, in 1959. This is a portrait of Karl Marx from 1818 to 1883. A woman, she's got a handgun, part of the French forces of the interior, and she's telling a fellow resistance fighter about the liberation of Paris. The car has the Cross of Lorraine on it, which was a symbol of the Free French forces. This was on August 26, 1944. The Pope Pius XII meets with Hitler. The day Soviet and Allied troops met at the River Elbe near Torgau in Germany on April 25, 1945. So learning how to swim in the 1920s, huh? It sounds pretty interesting. October 1941, Grand Central Terminal, New York City. Sergeant Andrew Martin Chandler of the 44th Mississippi Regiment and his servant Silas Chandler, one of 36 slaves owned by the soldier's mother, 1861. The Beatles had their final rooftop concert in London in 1969. Two boys were arrested for pickpocketing in New York in the early 20th century. Judges Tokyo Olympics 1964. Before the era of video recording, winners in races were determined manually. The judges, measuring, were true heroes of precision. Vladimir Mayakovsky, Moscow 1912. The first photograph of the Taj Mahal, 1855. To promote his movie, Frenzy, Alfred Hitchcock announced he was returning home to London from Hollywood by floating a lifelike mannequin of himself in the Thames River, 1972. During the aggression against Czechoslovakia in 1938, there was fraternization between the Polish and Hungarian occupiers. Kiss in Tokyo, 1978. A United States soldier gives oranges to survivors of the Wöblin concentration camp. (1984) Nikola Tesla's dining with investors at his favorite restaurant. This is a treehouse in the Koyari district of Papua New Guinea, dating to around 1880 to 1890. Sean Connery in James Bond's Aston Martin in 1965. A German film crew is getting ready to film the Bulgarian annexation of southern Dobruja from Romania. They're documenting the implementation of the German-mediated Treaty of Craiova, which happened in September 1940. It's a banquet for French soldiers who got really serious injuries during World War I. The photo was taken by Henri Manuel in Paris in 1925. Drew Barrymore, 1995. The first car I bought was a convertible. It was 1951 and I was in Los Angeles. Between Los Angeles and Las Vegas, in the Mojave Desert, there's a boulder that's considered the largest stone in the world. October 15th, 1951. Traffic Squad Parade, November 5th, 1908. Mayor George McClellan is getting out of a car in the plaza at Union Square. Frederick Winters, who competed in the 1904 Olympics. The winners of the Moscow 1980 Olympic weightlifting competition were Valentin Christoph from Bulgaria, Leonid Taranenko from the USSR, and Georgi Salai from Hungary. Washington, D.C., 1931. There's a man and he's partially submerged in a tank wearing a breathing apparatus. In London, the double-decker buses underwent a tilt test to prove they would not tip over in 1933. A Filipino-American family is posing for a family portrait. This was in the Philippines in 1912. Bethlehem Fairfield Shipyards, Baltimore in 1943's. A little dreamer wearing a pilot's suit is sitting in a toy airplane. It was 1941. In the 1930s, on the Winrock Navajo Reservation in Arizona, an evocative moment was captured, showcasing a Navajo baby in a traditional cradleboard, an iconic symbol of Native American child-rearing practices. North Dakota Buried Under Snow, 1966. It's spring of 1942 in Detroit. There's a fashion show put on by the Chrysler Girls Club of the Chrysler Corporation at Saks Fifth Avenue. A girl is modelling a corselet. An American flag sits atop Mount Suribachi soon after it was raised there by 6 US Marines, as depicted in Joe Rosenthal's iconic photo during the Battle of Iwo Jima on February 23, 1945. Angelina Jolie, who was 10 years old, and her father, John Voight, were at the Oscars in 1986. As images and reports of the brutality in Vietnam made their way back to the US, many Americans turned against the war and took to the streets to protest. Actor Klaus Kinski is holding a machete to director Werner Herzog's throat during the filming of Cobra Verde. Their relationship was complicated. This happened in 1987. It's 1944. A French woman is publicly humiliated for allegedly collaborating with the Nazis. So imagine it's 1920s and you're not happy with a product. You'd write a letter, obviously. You might start by saying the product was, and I quote, unsatisfactory. You'd then probably explain what specifically went wrong. Maybe it arrived damaged, or didn't work as advertised. Next, you'd probably request a refund or exchange. You'd sign off with something polite like sincerely or yours truly, and then you'd mail it off and wait. Lyndon Johnson meets with civil rights leaders at the White House. German citizens were in a British internment camp during World War I on the Isle of Man in the 1910s. Ginger Rogers is in the spotlight in Gold Diggers of 1933. Swedish police officers speeding through traffic on skateboards in 1976. Dr. John Britton shows off the .357 Magnum he carried for protection while working at a Pensacola abortion center on July 28, 1994. The doctor was murdered the day after this was taken. The killer was an extreme opponent of abortion. The motor catamaran George Monterey from the United States, 1952. A grotto in an iceberg. It was photographed during the British Antarctic expedition on January 5, 1911. It's a wedding picture from Paris, 1956. September 18, 1959, New York. Helena Rubinstein, 655 Fifth Avenue, hairdryers. (1941), a period marked by severe famine in Spain following the Civil War, during which an estimated 200,000 people died directly or indirectly from starvation. Women and children are being fed communally by Auxilio Social. 1880, Myrtle Corbin was born, a dipygus, having 2 separately functioning pelvises and 4 legs. She married and had 5 children. Passengers and trains bustle through the Helsinki railway station, a hub of mid-20th century travel. Helsinki, Finland, 1967. Death Dive, 1st of August 1930. A stuntman takes off in a customised plane at Alexandra Palace in London. The text describes a Swedish bride circa 1880. A skating rink in the Forbidden City, Beijing in 1957. The Forbidden City used to be an imperial fortress, a place where regular people weren't allowed to go. There's a picture of World War I soldiers cross-dressing. It's athletes at an open-air match during snowfall. Newport Pancake Race UK 1975. Judy Garland and Frank Sinatra 1946. A group of soldiers is playing a game. It's 1915. The last prisoners are leaving Alcatraz in 1963. New recruits of the 7th, the King's Own Hussar Regiment, practice balancing on wooden horses 1935. Male pilot Wild Bill 1926. Singapore during the 1960s. From 1953 to 1970, United Airlines ran special men-only executive flights, which were designed for business travellers. These flights travelled on important routes, like New York to Chicago and Los Angeles to San Francisco. Corporal William Wendy brushes G.I. Jenny, the borough mascot of an army unit in North Africa. The terrier is named Pitto. It's 1943. Soviet Premier Joseph Stalin and Japanese Foreign Minister Yosuke Matsuoka are in a photo. They're there after signing the Neutrality Pact in Moscow on April 13, 1941. There's an anti-Nazi protest in Berlin in 1931. The very first passengers of the Moscow Metro in 1935. Mobile swimming pools were a popular way to cool off in larger cities in America in the 1960s. Alright, so it's a dinner table set up for 14 unsuspecting guests. This was back in 1946. A German soldier is sharing some of his food with a local Russian mother. There's a street cellar at the Eros Fountain, Piccadilly Circus, London, around the early 1900s. Norma Jean, in 1945, before she became the famous Marilyn Monroe. The last photograph of the actress Sharon Tate, who died tragically at the hands of Charles Manson's followers in 1969. Bernie Sanders, a young man, is on the street, campaigning for mayor of Burlington, Vermont in 1981. An anti-Nazi protester is being carried away by the police. This happened at the German Bund rally at Madison Square Garden in New York on the 20th of February 1939. Ernest Hemingway, 1948. It's 1917 and we're at the White House. We see suffragettes. In 1920, London's Christmas parade. A woman is on a litter with two slaves. This is from Brazil in 1860. J.W. Waldron Smith and Bicycle Works in Brighton, England, around 1900. Ozzy Osbourne spent a weekend in France with his daughter Amy in 1984. Che Guevara and Fidel Castro are fishing in 1960. Grounded, April 9th, 1953, Oak Ridge, Tennessee, Civil Defense Air Raid Drill, Highland View School. Albert Einstein is with his son, Hans Albert Einstein, and his grandson, Bernhard Caesar Einstein, around 1933. A road washing machine, 1905. Lou Gehrig signing an autograph for Frank Sinatra in 1939. New York, 1942, posting ceiling prices in English and foreign languages.